There are multiple different ways that writers organize their information to be presented logically and most effectively, and we're going to take a look at some of those text structures and organizations today. Use some sort of text structure or organization to plan out their writing and in order to present the information in a way that makes most sense to the reader. And depending on what you're writing about or what your purpose is, you want to choose an appropriate text organization to make sure the information is easy to follow and achieves the purpose that you originally wanted to achieve. So the text structures as you know it are to description, sequence, problem solution, cause and effect, and compare and contrast. And each of them have their different unique qualities, and they also have signal phrases that can help you identify what is what. The first one is cause and effect. Cause and effect is why something happened. Effect is what happened. So sometimes the effect is listed first, showing, okay, this is what happened and this is why. Sometimes you can discuss the why first and then discuss what happened as a result. So some signal phrases: what happened, why did it happen, what caused it to happen. Signal words might be because, since, therefore, if, and then. So we're looking at different examples of, okay, this is the result of this event and this is why it occurred, or this is why something is happening and this is what is going to happen as a result of that event. A second text structure is compare and contrast. It shows how two or more things are alike or not alike. So some signal questions you can ask: what things are being compared, in what ways are they alike, in what ways are they different. Some signal words are same as, similar, alike, as well as, not only, but also, both, instead of, etc. So anytime they're showing two separate things or maybe more than two things and showing the similarities and differences, then you have your compare and contrast. This would be helpful maybe for persuasive writing when you're trying to show why one thing is better than the other or why something is less superior than another thing. It could also be helpful for informing if you're trying to show the similarities of two things just to teach the reader about them, maybe to help them reference something they already know. The third example is sequence, and sequence is like a ladder. It describes items or events in order or tells step-by-step directions in order to do something or to make something. Sequence is most likely written with informative writing because you're trying to educate the reader, teach them to do something. You could ask the questions: what items, events, or steps are listed? Do they have to happen in this order for this story to make sense or this informative writing to make sense? Do they always happen in this order? So signal words are like first, second, third, next, then, before, after, right? Think of recipes, think of directions. Think of any informative manuals on how to do something. Next, we have problem and solution. It tells a problem and sometimes says why there's the problem, and then it presents a solution. So you can ask yourself, what is the problem? Why is this a problem? Is anything being done to try to solve the problem? And what can be done to solve the problem? Problem and solution is a really good text structure to use for persuasive writing because you're presenting the problem, and then most times they're either discussing what solutions are already out there or what solutions they propose in order to fix that problem. The last most common text structure is description. It's when a topic, idea, person, place, or thing is described. This is used for entertainment purposes mostly. You can ask yourself the signal phrases: what specific topic, person, idea, or thing is being described? How is it being described? What does it look like? How does it work, etc.? And why is it important to remember? Any signal words, for instance, such as to begin with, an example, etc. Description can also be helpful in informative writing, especially if you're trying to give context to what you're teaching about. Sometimes the audience doesn't always have the background information needed to be taught, so you have to give the context or describe the item or the idea in order for it to make most sense to them. Like most of the concepts we're going to explore, text structure is not new to you. You've been learning about text structure for years, but it's still important to remind yourself of them, and you will be required to identify text structure throughout this unit. So go ahead and visit the practice, reference the notes, keep this video in mind, and it will help you figure out whenever you're reading something how to look at its organization, and is that organization the most effective for the purpose of that writing. All right, everyone, I hope you found this information helpful. Go ahead and practice identifying your text structure. It will really help you figure out how effective the purpose is and how effective the information that is being presented is to the reader.